Hi, welcome to Knitting with Frogginette. I'm Lisa and I'm a knitwear designer who focuses on baby and children's designs. This is my knitting podcast where I'm going to talk about knitting, and at the very end of the video I will put a few beauty shots of my garden because I know some of you are into gardening just like I am, and even though it's November, I think it's still beautiful in the garden. So first I wanted to talk to you about my finished projects. I haven't finished a whole lot of things that I can show you. There's a couple more designs that I'm working on, but I'm really excited to show you the modified Aidez cardigan that I had mentioned in my last podcast, the one that had the weird flaring hem and that I just wasn't wearing, and that didn't have buttons, and so I had a lot of plans to modify it so that I could finally wear it, and I did, and I'm wearing it and I love it and I'm so excited about it. As you can see, I've chopped off the hem and I've just done a simple bind off across. It could have been done a bit more carefully. It looks a little bit unfinished, but on the other hand, I kind of like the look of the abrupt end to those cables. I guess the problem I had was that it was quite tricky to see where to pick up the stitches so that they would all be on one row before I chopped off everything, like all the ribbing. It was quite hard to see because, the cardigan is a little bit felted, it's dark gray, and I probably need glasses, and I still haven't looked into that. Already I think the proportions are completely 100% better. And I also decided to make button loops because I really wanted to use these beautiful toggle buttons, and I think they work really well. The button loops were a little bit thick. I did a 3-stitch I-cord. I probably would have been fine doing a 2-stitch I-cord, but I think it works fine. I'm really, really happy with it, and in fact I'm wearing it today, as you can see. And it's just the perfect cozy cardigan, and I love it. The second work in progress that I had last time that I sort of finished, sort of didn't finish, is the Veggie patch cardigan, which is one of my designs. And I made that one for my son in a size 8 years old. And I'm completely done with it. It's blocked. It looks really nice, but I'm missing buttons, and I know it sounds familiar probably to a lot of you, having projects that just sit there for months because the only thing they need are the perfect buttons. And the buttons I have are red. They're like quite bright, like this. And I'm not convinced that against this beautiful sort of teal that it's the best choice. I mean, yes, I like the pop. It looks fun, fresh, happy. But it kind of takes away from the color, I think. And I am thinking more and more that wooden buttons or blue-green buttons like the cardigan would be better and would bring out the actual texture and the color of the cardigan instead of calling attention to the buttons. So of course I don't have any such buttons in the right quantity in my stash, but I will at some point finally go to the store and try to find something that'll work. And hopefully next time I will have a little bit of a action shot of my son wearing the cardigan. Hopefully I won't have to bribe him too much to do that. I hope he likes it, and I hope he ends up wearing it even though it's not gold. it's that overalls pattern that I've shown a few glimpses of on Instagram, and I think I showed you a little bit of it last time, my last episode, when I was talking about short rows in the round and telling you all about my exciting trick to avoid holes. So it's all done, it's out, I just released it, and I just think it's probably biased here, but I think it's the most adorable thing ever. With those little knee patches. Oh my god. I really love it. I just love it. And then at the back, you can see. Very, very near invisible short rows. I just love it. This is the version with the buttoned legs. I had asked you on Instagram through a poll whether you wanted a buttoned leg or not buttoned leg, what was the most practical in terms of changing diapers, etc. And it turns out that it was pretty much 50-50, and most of you answered that I should just have both options in the pattern, and I thought, why not? I was just worried that the pattern would get a little bit overly sort of convoluted, but I guess it turned out fine. I don't think my testers had any issues following their version. So yeah, so this thing here, so it starts at the waist. So you have the option of either doing a provisional cast on if you don't like picking up stitches, but I just started with a long tail cast on, and you just knit down, top down, working short rows here in the seat area, and then working on the gusset. And then here, that's where the two options, leg band and no leg band, diverge. And then you continue working the legs, working these built-in knee patches. And then for the button leg version, of course, you pick up all around, you work your buttonholes, there's 2 button bands. And then when you're done with that, you go back to your waist, and either you pick up the stitches if you did a long tail cast on, or if you did the provisional cast on, you get your you get that out and you get your stitches back. And then you work bottom up to do the bib, which is very straightforward and very cute. So there you go. I will show you a few images of this is a size 3 months old. I also made a sample that's a 3-year-old sample. This pattern goes from newborn to 3-year-old, to the 3-year-old size. So I did it without button bands. And I ran out of yarn, so I actually did a kind of a cropped version, and I left out the knee patches for that one. And I still think it looks really, really cute. And you could also totally make a romper out of this pattern. There's a tip in the pattern about that. There's a few fun techniques in the pattern. The short rows, again, I really, really think you should not be afraid of short rows. I just released the videos kind of explaining what they are, sort of in space, so you can have more of a visual idea. And I, have a couple videos for how to work them flat and how to work them for a garment that is worked in the round. And I really don't think you should be afraid of working short rows. I think they're really fun, and they really make a big difference in the fit, especially for pants or overalls, I think. There's a little bit of Kitchener stitch that you have to do, but only if you do the version that does not have button legs. If you do this version with the button legs, then there's no Kitchener stitch at all. So just so you know. Not that you should be afraid of Kitchener stitch either, but just so you know that you can avoid it. As far as the yarn, I use Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino, which can be purchased from Love Knitting website, Lovecrafts it's called now. And I think they ship to a lot of different countries. But you can use any sport to DK yarn that gives you the right gauge. And what else can I say about this? Yeah, I could see this as being sort of a go-to new baby pattern because it's really cute. It's completely unisex. I think it's pretty convenient. If you make it shorter, like I could see it as being with shorter legs, and you could put these, really cute tights underneath. If you go outside, just put a sweater underneath. If you stay inside, then just a thinner t-shirt type thing. This pattern is the last one of my Cottage Garden Collection Volume 1. So if you bought the ebook, then you should automatically receive a link to this pattern. And I hope you enjoyed the collection. I had so much fun coming up with all the designs, and I can't wait to show you the volume 2 part. Oh, I forgot. This design is called the Potager Overalls. Yeah, just keeping with the theme of the, cottage garden, hobbit, vegetable garden vision that I had for this collection. So let's talk about works in progress. I usually try to take this period of like about a month before Christmas off in terms of knitting. So I still work on my patterns and everything, but I usually try to knit stuff for myself or for family, like non-work related knitting. And I usually really try to work from other designers' patterns because it's just fun. It supports my fellow designers, and yeah, it's just so relaxing. And also I can learn stuff. Sometimes they have good ideas about how to work something, new techniques, just ways of explaining stuff. So the project I've been working on is gonna be a Christmas present for my brother, my little brother, who initially wanted a shawl because we both completely fell in love with the West Knits Marled Magic shawl, which I think is just stunning. I never, ever knit shawls. I don't know why. I love having things around my neck at all times. So you'd think that I would knit shawls in my spare time. But I just don't, and I don't know why. And I really want to change that next year. I want to try to maybe keep evenings and weekends for personal knitting, perhaps, and weekdays for work knitting. That would encourage me to just make more things for myself and for my loved ones. So yeah, this shawl, I just love it. And my little brother was really into it, but I guess he kind of chickened out a little bit, or he wasn't sure if the amount of time I was going to spend on it was going to be worth it if he didn't end up wearing it a lot. So yeah, I would agree with that. So we decided to just go with these West Knits shorts, which I think would be just the perfect thing to lounge around the house in, or even take to the gym. Why not? I think they're really fun. They're very retro, a little bit 80s, and I want to use some of my leftover Malabrigo since they call for worsted weight. And here's what I have so far. This is the front, and then the back is shaped with short rows. Unfortunately, you can kind of see them because of the way they're worked. You can sort of see the change of direction pretty well, but I think it's okay. I think it's fine since it's kind of lost in this variegation. I think they're really cool. I worry that they might end up being a little bit tight for him, but since it's superwash, it will grow somewhat when I block it. So I think maybe it might work. Yeah, they're very straightforward to knit. They're fun to knit. And I should be done with them in the next few days. They're really quick and there's lots of stuff happening, so it doesn't get boring. I was thinking I might actually make myself a pair one day, add to the long list of things I would love to knit for myself. Yeah, so this is one of the Christmas presents that I'm working on. I'm still debating what exactly I want to make. I know that from my dad, he really, really loved this scarf that I made, which is just a simple 1x1 rib. It's striped with some Noro yarn, which sort of changes colors, and you alternate that with a gray yarn or a neutral, and it produces a really beautiful effect, very elegant. And initially, I made this for my husband, but he thought the yarn was a bit scratchy. So I gave that scarf to my little brother, who loves it and wears it all the time. But now my dad is a little bit jealous, and so I was thinking of making him a cowl based on exactly the same principle. So I just have to calculate how big that cowl should be and look in my stash. But I know I have some Noro that I can use. I just have to find the right yarn, the right neutral shade to pair it with. Now, for my husband, we finally, after, God, how many years have we been together? Many years. 15, almost 15 years. I've never really made him anything of consequence. I've made him a few accessories like hats and things like that, but he's very, very picky in terms of both style and yarn scratchiness. Like he really doesn't like yarns that are a little bit hairy, that even have a hint of scratchiness, but he also likes garments that keep their, hold their shape, that are not too floppy. So it's kind of difficult to find something that will work and that'll fit properly. So we both really loved this design by Rowan. It was in a Rowan book called Pioneer, I believe, and the pattern is called Settler. So I think it's going to take me a while to knit him that cardigan. I'm going to do my best to finish it by his birthday in February, but there's no way it's going to be done by Christmas. But it's I'm pretty excited about it, actually. I really hope that it turns out well and that he loves it and that he wears it, most importantly. As far as Christmas knitting, I don't know if you're aware of the indie design gift along, which is kind of a big, huge knit along with hundreds of independent knitwear designers, and we all sort of get together and give a discount on a selection of our patterns, and then all participate in knitting all the things before the holidays. And I will definitely participate. I will try to create a list of all the designs by other designers that I really love. Maybe I'll create a bundle on Ravelry or a Pinterest board. Whatever I end up doing, I will put that in the description below so you can click and check it out and queue up, and you totally should participate. I think it's such a fun event. Everybody's super encouraging, and there's prizes, like so many prizes that you can win. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna look for things to knit. I'm thinking hats, socks, cowls, slippers. If you have suggestions, by the way, I would love to hear them. Just leave a comment below. The indie design gift along takes place on Ravelry, and the start date this year is the 26th of November. starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the discount coupon lasts for a week. And but starting on the first day, you can just participate in all the different knit-alongs. There's a group on Ravelry that hosts all these knit-alongs, and so the knit-alongs start on the first day, the 26th, and then they go on until until the end of the year. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I'll see you next time.